Hello everyone. I'm going to put together a quick little video on what I'm doing to fix CVTs. I get a lot of calls from technicians and owners and managers over the years asking me, hey Tim, because they've heard that I've been doing it for a long time. What are you doing to work on a CVT? How are you getting parts and things like that? And so I'm going to give you kind of a quick overview of what I'm doing to make these things work, and hopefully maybe convince you to probably start working on some yourself. At the end of the day, I think we're all looking to bring more business into our shops, and we can't keep turning a blind eye to these CVTs because it is now part of our business. And we can certainly thank Subaru for this. I've been fixing CVTs since 88 or 89, something like that, when the Subaru Justice came out. They really started the whole CVT gravy train basically for us. It's been a up and down roller coaster here in the last few years for whether they're worth fixing or not, but at this point they are worth fixing. So here's my philosophy on it. Like right now I got 3 CVTs in my shop, and I'll show you. So right now I'll point it best I can for you, and pardon me, I'm doing this with my cell phone. There's one CVT that we're in the middle of building. Here is another one that we are about done with on building, and then I've got another one right here that we're getting ready to tear apart tomorrow. So, here's my philosophy on it. It's all about starting off with the CVT correctly. You want to make sure you're doing a good performance check on a CVT before you do it. Is it pulling out okay? Is it slipping? Is it making noises? All these things need to be documented so that you have a better understanding before you get into the CVT, what you're getting ready to do. Once you do a performance check and you have confirmed all these things, then it makes it a little simpler on the bench. I'm going to show you some pictures, and I'll I'll pause this and then go into some other videos on how to inspect the belts and the pulleys and things like that, what I'm doing, and why you need to kind of watch out for certain things. But if you got codes that are relating to a CVT, and I got to switch my hand here. If you got codes that you're relating to CVTs, on your performance check, and that would be, for instance, like, these codes right here, where it's saying the stepper motor is bad, replace it. Now, I will tell you, WIT sells like used reconditioned stepper motors, or tested used ones, I guess, for $50, or you can get new ones for $125. It's up to you. I've used both. I've not had a problem with used, but I'll put new on if I feel like I need to with certain customers. But if that's all I got, that's what I put on. If the pulley assemblies are bad in them, not promoting wood over anybody else, but currently just checked on them today. I can get a good guaranteed used set of pulley systems. It comes basically just again, it's hard for me to do this, but that whole pulley assembly with the back cover for around $300. Now you can replace them with new ones, and I can't remember what the new ones were, but somebody told me like $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 for new ones. That's up to you. Okay, then you get into a point of it's probably not worth your time building it. But if you can get a good used set and they're guaranteed that they're the belt's good in them and the pulleys are good, then go for it. I will tell you that if the pulleys are bad, don't use them. Don't sand them. Don't use them. Like I said, I'm gonna pause this and we're gonna go on to other things. But I wanted to real quickly just tell you that when it comes to your fluids, I don't use like house brand fluids from the local parts stores, but I do, and I will show you the type of fluid I'm using. I do use my vendor brings me in my fluids for the shop here, the bulk. I always make sure he brings me a couple, 3 cases of the CVT fluid, And this is the type of fluid I'm using. It is a CVT. It's from Phillips 66. It's a CVT fluid, and I've been using that for such a long time. I've never once had a problem. Now, I have bought the new fluids from the dealerships, and certainly you can continue on that if that's what you feel like it's best for you, but I've not seen any problems from using that fluid, and it seems to work okay for us. So anyhow, I'm going to pause this, and then I'm going to go into explaining what we do here to fix these CVTs. I've got two pulleys assembled here. One's good, one's bad, and I want you guys to kind of look at it. Okay, so this is going to be our bad pulley assembly, and this is going to be our good pulley assembly. And when I pull back and I do a side-by-side comparison, one of the things that you might catch right away is where the belt is sitting and how much taller the left-hand pulley is than it is on the left side compared to the right-hand pulley on the right side. Okay? Whenever you have a belt that is sitting out here on the edge, when I'm doing an inspection on this transmission right here, that's a good sign for me, because it tells me a lot of times, and this ain't 100%, but I can about guarantee you about 95% of the time it's going to apply. But it tells me that the balls, like the wear inside this, are not worn. Okay? Now you could update this, take it apart, and put those new pins in it, which I do recommend. But I'm just kind of talking if you're, just doing a quick RDI and you want to have a good idea if they're wore or not. Whenever the belt sits out here on the edge, it tells me that it's likely not sticking. However, I come over here to this one and I do an inspection on it. The belt is pulled all the way in, and this is not coming up and down very well. And now they make pullers for this thing that you can buy. You can simply just do your 2-jaw pulley or a 3-jaw pulley, like one of those, or one of these, and you can come over here and lift this up, which is recommended to lift it up to get this belt to slip off, because right now you can't get it off. So like I said, when you're first doing an inspection on it, if you want to know if you stand a good chance that your pulleys actually have wear on them on the internal part of it, look at the belt. Where does it sit? Because you can spend a lot of time doing an inspection on it only to find out the customer doesn't want to go for the price you're giving them, and you end up replacing the unit with a used or a reman or whatever it might be. But this puts us in a good, well, this puts us in a good ballpark of whether or not the internal shafts actually have grooves in them or not. The other thing I want to point out is, and it's going to be hard to see, and I will show some pictures of it, but is the pulley itself, the surface on it. And I have to kind of sneak up into this one here, but you can begin to see the wear right there on the inner part of this, where this pulley has stuck in this position. Okay, this pulley sticking in this position is what led to wearing, which is going to tell me if I take this thing apart, those pins are going to be bad. But if I come over here and I look at this one, they're like, it's like brand new. And you see how this pulley here looks? It's like brand new. But here it's kind of hard to see this one, because the wear mark that's going to be on this pulley is internal to it because it's stuck. But if I think you can kind of make it out. There we go. It's bad. And my philosophy is, if it's got any wear at all, don't try to sand these, replace them. Now when you come over here and look at the belt, you should be able to see on these belts little ridges cut in them. They go from left to right or right to left.
but vertically. Here I see none. Also, there's like 12 bands right here, roughly. These bands like to crack and break, and when they do, the whole belt will come apart. So I suspect that this one's not cracked, but they're prone to cracking. So upon your inspection, I find it's best just to put a camera on it and zoom in and look at it and look for cracks in those belts. Because if you see one, although you may have ridges on these, you can kind of see a ridge right there on that center one. But anyways, you may have good ridges, but what happens is these belts here are starting to crack and it's beginning to start to come apart, and it's going to be a potential problem for you real soon. Now if I come over here to the other pulley that's good, and I look at this belt, and this is a used belt, by the way. You see the ridges from left to right? They're good. No cracks in the belt. And you can spin this thing around and turn it, and you can then do an inspection on it all the way around when you check these belts.
Alright, now pertaining to the valve body, I don't do a whole lot with the valve body, except for, obviously going through and making our stuck valves, and, we will do our Sonics pressure test on the ports, making sure there's no excessive leaks. Yeah, and again, that's a difficult thing to call, because it's I think Gears or somebody came out with something here just in the past few days with using a Sonics test valve over there, where you can pressurize and pull a vacuum on the valve body for CVTs, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I think I do remember seeing that, just haven't had time to look at it yet. But anyways, so what I'm doing to these valve bodies is I'm really just installing one thing, and I'm putting in a Transgo flow valve in it, and that's it. And there's a puller you can get for helping you pull those pulleys up if you want to get that. That's just a cheap way of doing it, and it actually works. We got one of those here too. But going through the valve body, cleaning it up, replacing whatever codes that relate to like the stepper motors or solenoids or something like that. Brake cleaning things out, and just make sure everything's done properly. And then making sure, obviously, new filter and things like that. But speaking of the filter, I guess you can kind of see that, but if I was to shine light through that, you would not be able to see it. Right there, there you go. That's metal. Now, it looks like friction material. It's not really friction material. It could be a little bit of friction material mixed with it, but that's mostly metal. And you can sit there and think it's coming from the torque converter. You would be partially right, especially if your lining's coming apart. But in most cases, that's actually coming off your belt. They wear, and they produce a lot of that metal. So that's the reason why we got to take these things apart and clean them up and put them back together. So that's all I'm doing to the valve body. Nothing more than that. All right, so I hope that was insightful and helpful a little bit. This is what we're doing. I'm not doing much more than that. Of course, I'm addressing if parts are breaking and things like that, and clutches are burning out, but I don't see many clutches burning these things. Theoretically, you probably put the old clutches back in, it'd be fine. It's really up to you how you want to do it. But if you got any questions, give me a call. I do other CVTs as well, Fords and Chevrolets, and quite a bit of Subarus, to be honest with you. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. Thanks.